Christian Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Justice of Jesus, Reimagining Your Church's Life Together to Pursue Liberation and Wholeness. Narrated by Joash Thomas. To my parents, Praveen and Susan Thomas, for passing down the rich, ancient Christian faith you inherited, and showing me the way of Jesus by sacrificing so much. This book only exists because of your faithfulness. Introduction. This social justice stuff isn't Christian, it's Marxist. A friend from church left this comment when I shared online about the work of a Christian human rights organization, one I someday hope to work for. It rattled me. I was a new immigrant to the United States, and here was a white brother I worshipped alongside saying that my faith-fueled calling to pursue justice was not Christian at all. What if I'm wrong about this? I remember asking myself. What if he is right? He is an American Christian after all. It would take me years to unpack the layers of complexity here. Years of following Jesus into the work of systemic justice. Years of studying theology at a leading evangelical seminary. Years of examining the complex history of injustice, sugar-coated with gospel language in the North American church. Years of working out how Global South Christians allow our theology of justice to be colonized by the Western theological tradition. I realized over time that this beloved friend was merely the product of his Western church environment. After being challenged in similar ways by other Western Christians in my years of mobilizing churches in Canada and the United States to seek systemic justice, my curiosity was sparked. I began to ask and explore these questions. Why do so many Western Christians see the work of systemic justice as separate and distinct from the gospel? Why do I, as a Global South Christian, see the work of justice so differently from my Western and mostly white siblings? Who is ultimately in the right here? Whose vision of justice is more aligned with how Jesus defined it in his gospel? Why does any of this matter? This book is my attempt at providing answers after years of theologically and spiritually wrestling with these questions, all while doing the work of justice with a global community of Christians seeking systemic justice Jesus' way on behalf of millions of vulnerable women, children, and families. Although I spent my early career as a U.S. political consultant and lobbyist, helping my clients hone their public voices, it took me years to find my own voice. Even when I started to deepen my justice theology in seminary and found that I had something to say, it didn't always feel like my voice was my own. Perhaps this was because at that point, almost all of my theological influences were white American men. That's why, when I first started teaching on justice from Scripture at churches across North America, I probably sounded like most other white American Bible scholars. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with learning theology from white American men. Some of my favorite authors and teachers of Jesus are white American men. There is, however, something dangerous about learning theology only from one segment of the global church. The one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church is made up of more than white American men. Yet, these are the voices that dominate Christian academia and Christian publishing today. Over time, ministry friends and colleagues began to challenge me to bring out my unique perspectives as a brown South Asian immigrant. And once I stopped checking my Global South perspective at the door of the Western Church, everything began to change. What do I mean when I say the Global South Church? I'm referring to the church in the Southern Hemisphere that operates in contexts with a majority of the world's
Sample complete. Ready to continue?